Tell us any interesting details, such as wacky jobs, hobbies, interests, talents, awards, etc., about yourself, or anything that makes you stand out.
Well, like I said before, I am a music major, so I am actually a chick drummer. I play drums. That is my main instrument. I also play piano and I do a little singing, but I think the coolest thing about me and the coolest hobby that I have is drumming.
What is your favorite topic of conversation in a social setting? Food, the arts, pop culture, your hobbies, etc.?
Well, cake decorating would be obvious, but I think the thing I like to talk most about is education, education in general, like schools, how are the schools doing in our community, and then also the latest trends in teaching. I guess I'm a teacher at heart, but as everybody knows, Wisconsin had the whole huge riots and everything like that in downtown with our governor, so I kind of sometimes like to talk about that a little bit, but it doesn't make too many people happy.
So tell me, where do you get your recipes? Family, friends, cookbook, TV, etc.? And how do you put your own personal twist on the recipes?
I've already answered that question. Next question.
How would you rate your skill level, beginner, average, or expert, when it comes to baking, decorating, and pastries/desserts? Let's start with baking.
Baking, I would say that I'm average. I won't say that I'm an expert. The reason why I say I'm average is because I'm still figuring out my own recipes to sort of put my own twist on recipes. So I haven't figured out everything yet, so I want to say that I'm average with that.
What about decorating?
Decorating, I'll say that I'm average to expert. I always see people who are better, way better than me, so I'm always judging myself, so I have a hard time saying that I'm an expert, and I'm sure Buddy will read me a new one when he sees some of my artwork. So I'll just say I'm average to expert, and just start from there, because I'm always willing to learn something new.
And how about pastries and desserts?
Besides cakes, I've really only gotten into maybe making cookies and brownies, just anything baked like that. I haven't really gotten into anything fried like donuts, or haven't gotten into like cream puffs or any other sort of pastries. So I would say that I'm maybe only a beginner on that one. Although I have worked with cream puffs, they were all pre-made though when I worked at the grocery store. So I do know what they are, I do know what they look like, but I have really no experience making them myself.
True or false? You have to go to culinary school to be a good baker and decorator. Please explain your answer.
With my experience, I would definitely say false. Maybe some people are in a different set of shoes and would say differently, but I definitely say false because I've been able to invent my own recipes without the need of a school or schooling of any sort. In fact, I've never taken an arts class like pottery or painting. Everything that I've done, I've learned all on my own, and I think anybody is capable of learning that by themselves. You just have to be willing to mess up a few times and experiment.
How would you rate your decorating skills when under time constraints?
I tend to get it done quickly without a problem. I've worked in commercial bakeries. There have been times where a customer came in an emergency and needed a cake done, or another cake got done and it was messed up, and so I had to get another cake done really quickly. So that's no problem for me.
Are you usually happy with the end result? Please describe in detail.
I, like I've said, am pretty hard on myself. The only time that I'm happy with the end result is if the customer is happy. So even if I'm not completely happy, if the customer's thrilled, then I'm thrilled.
Describe the types of elaborate cakes you've made. Could you make a 5-tier wedding cake in an hour if challenged? And what's the largest cake you've ever made?
I've done all ranges of difficulty of cakes. I've done just plain sheet cakes that are scored with simple flowers, all the way up to difficult sculpted cakes. I'd say the most difficult cake I've done thus far was for a wedding last year, where I actually made marshmallow fondant from scratch and covered the whole cake in it. It was 4 tiers. Everything in the middle of the cake was from scratch, so just all the prep work was just so much work. And then when I got down to the decorating, I didn't have that much time. And the end result, I wasn't the happiest with it, but the customer was ecstatic, and she says to this day her friends are still talking about her cake.
Could you make a 5-tier wedding cake in an hour if challenged?
I hope the cakes are baked already, and I hope the frosting's made already, but if that's all said and done, and I think I could do it, yeah. It would be nice if I had some helpers, but sure, bring it on.
What's the largest cake you've ever made?
I think it was that cake I was just describing. I think that 4-tier cake was the biggest I made, unless you count this one behind us, which is actually a fake cake, so I don't know. The difficulty being fake cake isn't as hard. So this has 4 tiers, and this, if you count that, is sort of a 5th tier. But being from Platteville, there's people that don't really have a whole lot of money, so I haven't had the chance to really make these huge diva cakes like you see on TV. So probably 4 tiers is about the limit I've had to go so far, but I could do 5 or more.
What, in your opinion, makes a great cake baker or decorator, from skills to creativity? Please describe in detail.
Well, this sort of gets into my philosophy for my business a little bit. I think a great baker can get a sense of what the customer likes as far as flavors, just talking to the customer, what is their personality like. I usually find similar personalities like similar flavors, and that's been kind of interesting for me. And then for a cake decorator, just the ability to jump into the mind of the person, to see what they see, whether it's a specific picture of a cake or if it's just an affect that they're going for, grand or simple or whatever they may be going for, just being able to jump into their mind.
What makes someone a bad baker or decorator?
Well, a bad baker, definitely somebody who can't follow a recipe, somebody who doesn't listen to the customer and gives them something that they don't want. And then a bad cake decorator is somebody who just rushes through everything, doesn't take the time to really stand back and learn, and just doesn't have high quality in mind.
How do you think you'll handle quick-fire type challenges and working in a group for bigger challenges?
I think I'll actually be pretty good at least the creativity and the design part. Usually when you give me some sort of theme, I instantly come up with dozens of pictures, and I can just draw something up really quick and have an idea ready to go really quickly. The only thing that I struggle with is architecture. So if I come up with some like Mad Hatter crazy cake idea, then it's the stacking that really gets to me when it's supposed to be done really fast. So the creativity, no problem. It's just the construction that might nip me in the butt in the end.
What kind of role do you usually play in groups?
Usually I am the delegator, and I'm very creative, and also the leader. So I'll come up with this big, huge, grand idea, and then I'll start saying, okay, you do this, you do that, you do this. But if I'm not very confident in my idea, I might take a step back and actually just become overly helpful. Like somebody else delegates to me, I'll be like, okay, what do you want me to do next? I'm not the type that'll just be like, yep, everybody do it yourself, you know, so I usually am either the leader or just overly helpful.